Hello, and welcome to the Cory Network. We have several real estate industry-focused podcast shows showcasing around top leaders, company cultures, and experts serving all verticals of real estate. First up, we have Meet Your Next Best Hire, a podcast featuring and highlighting top industry real estate leaders looking to land their next venture in the job marketplace. And second, we have Company Culture Ambassadors Show, a podcast featuring top leading brands and organizations sharing their company culture, values through their voice to attract top talent to join their teams. And finally, Coffee Combos with Cory, a podcast featuring real estate industry experts adding value through their insights, expertise, and backstories to our community. I'm Cory, your host. With over a decade of real estate executive search and recruiting experience and the founder of Cory Executive Recruiting and Leaders on Deck, I've had the unique privilege of partnering with top real estate firms to recruit and place high-level leaders across the country. In these podcasts, we will have the amazing opportunity to hear top real estate industry leaders and organizations sharing their career stories, leadership and management style, and ultimately what they're known for in their craft and values that they're driven by. I can't wait to dive in and connect you with the best talent in the marketplace with top industry leading brands and building high performing teams. Let's dive in together. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to share a very special guest with you today. And we have Jacob Kosior here. He is the VP of Client Strategy with Elise AI. We're going to dive into what's it like to work at this big firm, and really what's unique about Jacob's story is that he transitioned from the owner-operator side and went over into prop tech sector. And I can't wait to kind of dive in and see how does that transition and what the experience has been and the value that you've been able to bring forward. And today, as our guest on the show of Company Culture Ambassadors Show, we're going to dive in and understand why does top talent want to work with your organization and essentially what your experience has been. So Jacob, thank you so much for sharing your time and space with us today.
Thank you for having me, Kelsey. I'm excited to be here and chat. I love Elise AI, and any chance I can get now to talk about kind of all the fun things we're doing and the culture we bring is a great opportunity for me. So thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I'm personally super excited to learn more about what you guys are building. So I'm sure all of our guests out there too are thinking the same thing. So if you can give us a benchmark for anybody who may not be overly familiar, what is it that you guys do? What are you known for? What is your craft?
Yeah, so we were founded back in 2017. At that time, AI was still relatively new. ChatGPT hadn't come out yet. We hadn't gone through COVID. But our founders, Minna and Tony, who are currently our CEO and our CTO, saw a vision where multifamily didn't have to be as complicated. It didn't have to be such a burden for a renter to find a home. So we started with our leasing AI product, and now fast forward ahead 8 years, we have over 220 team members in our offices in New York and San Francisco. We're getting ready to expand to offices in Chicago, where I'm located, as well as Boston. And our North Star is building AI and automation tools that meet the needs of the property management industry for all those touch points throughout a resident's life cycle. So both lead management as well as when they move in and all the things that they need to do for move-in. And then when their rent comes due, whether work orders or the renewal offers or all the administrative tasks that our on-site teams have to do. And yeah, I guess I've got a unique perspective on it, having been an Elise AI client myself before joining the team. But that's our North Star, is what are all of these processes that are heavily manual right now that either slow down the leasing process or don't optimize the customer experience, where we see opportunities to leverage AI and automation tools to make it easier for on-site teams, to give added visibility to corporate teams, and for an improved resident experience on the customer side, both with prospects and with residents.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, what an amazing solution. It's crazy to think 2017, how much has changed. It's really not that long of a window of time
to where we are now in 2025, and you guys are absolutely killing it. I mean, over 200 plus employees, and you guys, I think you just opened up a San Francisco office too, or you're planning on to, correct?
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
We've
cool.
got heavy office now in San Francisco. As we're trying to attract more engineering talent from the Bay Area. Our offices in Chicago and Boston will be extensions of our New York office with customer success, strategy, and sales team members there. But that's what we need at this point. We've now grown to be over more than 3 million units in the United States and Canada,
Wow.
helping more than 500 property management companies and ownership groups. So as our client base is growing, as the needs are growing, so too is our team, which makes this conversation super relevant, Kelsey. So again, glad that it brought us together today.
Yes, yes. And so I'm curious. Tell us a little bit more about like with your role, your responsibility as the vice president of client strategy, what is your influence and impact that's embedded so far and where are you heading?
Yeah. So I admittedly have a very unique role at the organization. I was an Elise AI client myself, first at BH Management, where I was on the marketing team. There, we were just rolling out the leasing product, and I saw the value in it because we knew our on-site teams were burdened with everything that was being pushed down on a leasing agent, right? Like it used to be that leasing agents were just doing tours. Now they're also social media stars. They're doing the TikToks that are there. They're asking for reviews. They're leading resident events. And so we saw the value of plugging in tools to help them do those follow-ups. And then when I moved to my most recent role at Cardinal Group, where I was their first head of centralized services, there I needed a whole different tech stack because as I was centralizing rent collection, I needed a rent collection tool that those team members could work with to scale over multiple properties. And so that's where I got very accustomed to just coming and knocking on the door of the Elise AI team to say, hey, what if you did this? What if you needed this? Could I see this? Until the point that I got to join the team myself. But now in my role, very unique. I'm one of a couple people at Elise who come from the industry. That's really important for us to make sure that we have representatives of the industry on our team. And I do a lot of calls with our clients just to help them re-envision their operation. Someone who's been in their seats before, using the same technology that they've been using for decades, that's as I was using as well, just to say, hey, we can do things a little bit differently. And what we really get involved with, and it's kind of my passion, is just the change management aspect of it. My favorite part of my career throughout multifamily was team building teams, empowering teams, teaching them new skills, helping them find new career opportunities with the skills that they were developing. So now getting to like work with all these property management companies and ownership groups to say like, hey, here's how we can train up your teams. Here's how we can make the technology not scary, but see it as this is my AI assistant who's doing some of the work that I used to be doing, but it's using my language. It's using what I would otherwise be saying to prospects and residents because the AI's learned from me. So change management, I say, is one area that I get heavily involved with just because I can hopefully speak the language of the operators or the marketing team members or the centralized team members on the operator side that we're helping transform their business with AI and automation.
I mean, that's brilliant on them to be able to say, hey, we really want to take Jacob and bring him in house. And I love the fact that you have been using the product, using the services like for years. And then eventually you just kind of adopted that methodology and now you're in house. I think there's just no better testament than for you to be able to share that experience with so many different industry leaders and actually understand the pain points that they're going through. So I think kudos to them because it was a really brilliant strategic move. And I can see that you really are adding that value. And that kind of goes into our next question is, how would you describe what is it like to work at Elise AI? Like, can you describe the company culture, the values? Like, what would somebody new or who is potentially looking to join your firm, what could they expect?
Very fast moving, number one. In part because we have to be. We're trying to service clients who are in affordable housing and market rate and student housing and senior housing, class A through class D, all these different markets in which they're operating in. So we've always got to be working and staying abreast of what are our clients' needs. We have to move at their speed of the business. And we also have to move at the speed of how rapidly AI is advancing as well to make sure that as there are advancements in the large language models or new capabilities, that we're maximizing those for our clients. So I'd say, number one, I've always worked at companies that were like, we move fast. And boy, when I moved to a tech company, I was like, all right, this is fast now. All right,
Yeah.
this is fast.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, if you like doing new stuff, if you like change, if you like energy and you like big challenges, that's the type of team member that we're looking for, because we have big challenges that we're trying to solve
Right.
for our clients, for renters, for the industry as a whole, who are facing increased costs. And we see AI and automation as a way of bringing those costs down through a lot of different mechanisms. We've got to be on top of all of that. So I'd say number one, it's a very, very fast moving for sure. Number two, having worked at property management companies, large and small in the past, we always have that tendency to kind of silo off at times. Whether that's, just because of the structure of the org, or, hey, there's this thing that I'm really excited about and I'm moving ahead on things, not realizing that I need to get other people on board with me. And that's something that we have to be very conscious of at Elise, is breaking down those silos, because what our accounts team is talking to, they've got to be in touch with what engineering is doing and building to make sure that we can surface that at the right time, and that our customer success team knows how to present that on calls, and that our planning team knows how to validate that with data and talk through ROI metrics. So we are very purposeful, and I give kudos to our CEO, Minna, who's very conscious of, as we grow, we have to maintain our culture and the collaboration across departments because of the speed at which we have to move now. And I think that's for clients who have worked with Elise over the years. I think that's one of the things that keeps them coming back and expanding with us, is they're rarely just talking to one person on our team. At some point on their calls, they've had an engineer on the call, or a product manager on there, or a strategy team member on there, all to provide all this varying level of support, because we realize that implementing AI, it's a heavy lift right now, just the technology itself, let alone all the change management that goes into it. And I was always really impressed with Elise as a client on the support that had to be provided across all these different facets. And now being on the team and getting to see that, I realized like how much value add there are too. So speed at which we have to work, and purposefully working, across departments, breaking down those silos. Two big takeaways that I've learned moving from the property management side to the technology side.
Yes, and I would even probably add like having the ability to troubleshoot, to come up with solutions, be on your toes at all times. Because, like you said, I mean, with it being fast paced and different clients coming to you and saying, hey, we now have this new obstacle, or we have this new advantage that we can have in the market. So, sounds like somebody who's really can roll up their sleeves, entrenched, who loves to be in a collaborative, thriving environment, who's not looking to just check out 9 to 5, because it's like, all right, the day's going to look really different every day, I'm sure, for you guys, based on whatever the priorities are going to look like for that day.
Yeah, and having to, and I think this is one of the benefits that I found in my career, that I saw as like, all right, this is one of my skill sets. And I'd say, for folks who are always looking for what's that next role, or how do I make that move over, the ability to, what I call like, speak different languages is paramount. My experience kind of ranges from conventional market rate lease ups to student new developments to some distressed assets. Then I was on the marketing team at BH Management doing customer experience before I moved to centralization. And so I think one of my skills that I think has helped me at Elise and helps us move at the pace we have to is the ability to speak that language, whether the folks on our call are a director of marketing, or a head of centralization, or a head of business development for a large property management company. Being able to put yourself in the seats of all of those people and understand where they're coming from, the language they speak, the metrics that they care about, that's super important for us to be able to move quickly. And I'd say anybody who's looking at what their next role might be, if a prop tech company or moving to the vendor side is important, that is a great skill set to have in your back pocket, to be able to flip through your Rolodex and be able to speak all those different languages to make sure that you can add value regardless of who's on the other end of that call.
Yes, I mean, I totally agree with that, because, as an executive search firm, I think the most valuable top leaders, exactly what you're hitting at, is that they have multiple different experiences that they're honing into, that they can help serve at very different capacities. You still have your niche and still like hone into your craft, but when you have that diverse background that you can pull from and understand different pain points and speak the language, I'm telling you, you will go so much further and almost find more fulfillment in some ways because you're challenged, you understand. And then I think, like you just mentioned, going into the prop tech or going into the vendor supplier side, it's not like you have to stay there forever, but I think adding that into your resume, your portfolio, it only will serve you, one way or the other. And I think with this industry, at the more diverse you are and the more acquired skills, just like with your background, I think the more of a high ticket, high value add that you bring to the table. So it makes total sense. Why, again, I think kudos to them for bringing you. I think it's brilliant. And you kind of touched on something that I would love to dive more into. So, when you guys were saying, as you grow, as you evolve, right, because this is where you are today and where you guys are planning on going as a firm, what's really important is, right, as any organization grows, the culture shifts, right? How do you maintain, like from your point of view or perspective, and just anybody looking at, okay, where you guys are today and where you guys want to go, how do you maintain the culture you have right now that is thriving? How do you evolve into it as you guys continue to reach new milestones and benchmarks? Like, what can you share for people who are looking at that?
Yeah, I'd say number one, this might be cliche, but it starts definitely top down. I think what we really benefit from and what motivates our team and keeps us all on the same page, regardless of what department we're in, is what is our goal? What are we trying to get to? And I really give kudos again to our CEO, Minna, who has our monthly impact meetings to give us updates on where we're at, but very transparent at all times of, here's our goal for the year, here's our goal for the quarter, here's where we're at, and here's the role that everybody plays in helping us get to that number. And I think, that's something that as property management companies are going through these major transformations like centralization, or now starting to do, development so they can further their vertical integration, or looking at other technologies. So that's something we coach them on now, is like, what's the directive coming from your top down on this? Is everybody on the same page, or does everybody kind of have a different approach on it? So that's been crucial for us, is what's that top down goal? And then that kind of drives the culture, because everybody knows the part and the role that they play in getting us to that goal. Or, if there's an area that we need to do better, it is cross-departmental to jump in on that. That is no one's responsibility. And I think that, that comes with being a startup. And another reason that I wanted to join Elise was just to have that experience in an environment where, we might be a startup, or thankfully a well-funded startup that's growing very rapidly, but we're learning as we grow. Sometimes as we roll out a new tool, we have to be able to move fast, and it has to be across departments to make sure that that's happening. But all of that is made possible by having that North Star straight from our executive team of, here's where we're going, here's what we want to do, and here's the role that everybody plays in it. That feeds down into the culture to make sure we're all collaborating with one another.
I love it. I love it. I think totally makes sense in terms of making sure that everyone's in alignment, everyone has buy-in through that process, and no one's really left behind. And it's like we're moving in one team, one direction. I love that. And we are at our final question, which I could talk to you forever because I just love hearing more about what you guys are building over there. But what is it that you guys hope, at the end of the day, for future team members that are considering joining your organization, current team members that you have, that they would say what it's like to work and experience working at Elise AI? What do you guys hope for?
Yeah, I would hope that anyone joining the org would say that they're feeling fulfilled. Our goal is, we can look at housing, and I guess I've got a unique experience in this too, coming from the past, to say like, there are areas that are barriers to the average renter. Things from like responsiveness to the on-site team, to how easy is that search? Are we price deflecting folks on the phone when I can otherwise just go see the price on the website? Why is that a disparate customer experience? That another one of our North Stars is, we want to bring down the cost of housing in the United States. We're very conscious of, and as is the whole industry, right? Like the cost of housing is going up. That creates tension between residents and the on-site teams. Their jobs are getting harder, hence the turnover we're seeing in the industry. And so as we're rolling out tools that align with the resident life cycle, our goal is, how can we bring down that cost? How can we make it easier for folks? How can we allow operators to re-envision their workflows to be more efficient, or leverage AI in areas that used to be manual? And at the end of the day, that's what drives me. Is I jokingly say, like, housing is a difficult industry, but I'd rather be selling apartments than vacuum cleaners or something else. That, it's a necessity. And
Yeah.
and with that comes like it's close to the heart of many of our customers, our residents, and our prospective residents. And our hope is that anybody who's joining the team sees that yes, we're a technology company, but the reason that our company was founded was to help bring down the cost of housing. And again, that's one of our North Stars, as we see as we roll out more products and we're able to help our clients reduce their tech stack or rethink their workflows or be more efficient. It's all with the goal of how can we do things at a lower cost so we can pass those savings on to the renter. And I think that just kind of gives you some good feels amidst it all too, that it doesn't have to be this scary technology and AI and what's the role of humans versus AI. At the end of the day, we want to look for opportunities to bring down that cost, to make it easier to own and operate real estate, and to make it a better experience for the renter.
Yes. Well, Jacob, thank you so much for being on the show with Company
Happy
Culture
to.
Ambassador
Thank you,
Show.
Kelsey.
This was phenomenal. So anybody, if you are not connected, you want to be sure you get connected with Jacob and his team at Elise AI. Clearly, you guys are making a huge impact inside the industry and multiple verticals of real estate, which is absolutely like something we're all passionate about. And I can just tell, like anybody who's hoping or thinking like, hey, should I venture off into prop tech? Absolutely. I mean, clearly this is
Absolutely,
one
yes.
of the top firms to go with. So thank you again for sharing time with us. We cannot wait to get this pushed forward and have everyone get connected with you guys. And if you're looking for your next best opportunity, make sure you guys are checking out their site, looking for, I mean, like you said, multiple engineering roles in San Francisco. And I'm sure lots of different opportunities you guys have on the horizon. So you gotta want to make sure you get on their radar, everybody.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you, Jacob.
Thank you for having me, Kelsey.
Thanks again for listening and sharing your time with us on the show. I hope you enjoyed listening and learning from various leaders our industry is so fortunate to have inside the real estate space. If you're a high-level leader within the diverse real estate ecosystem and looking to land your next venture and would like to share your story from your own voice and perspective, or if you're a leading real estate organization and want to share through your own voice and narrative your company culture, values, and ways you recruit and retain top talent, let's get connected. Then be sure to check out our firm also at Cory Executive Recruiting and Leaders on deck via CoryExecutive.com. Our mission is to continue to be trailblazers within the recruitment space and bring meaningful leaders to the forefront to drive growth and empower people. If you've enjoyed this session, please like, comment, and subscribe to support us. And thank you so much to our partners at Multifamily Media Network. We couldn't be more grateful for our collaboration. Stay tuned and join us on our journey.